Well, good evening, everyone. So this is going to be a little different. We started something on Instagram, and so many of you were so excited to learn about this, and many of you asked for longer videos to so that you can pause and play back and whatever. And I thought, what a great idea. We will start a new YouTube series. And this is going to be all about spinning yarn for the beginner. So let me start by saying you guys are awesome. You guys really are. Had I known that everybody was so interested in spinning yarn before, I would have done this for you guys a long time ago. I have been spinning yarn since 2016. A dear friend of mine, Moni, she lives down in Georgia. She's we call her Oma, and her husband is Opa to my kids. She got me into spinning, and she gave me my first of everything. And if it wasn't for her, I never would have gotten into this. So it kind of spiraled from there. I also used to sell fiber. I used to sell hand-dyed yarns, hand-dyed fiber, hand-spun yarn. So I do have some experience underneath my belt. I am in no way an expert spinner, but I have practical knowledge, and I think you really will get a lot out of these classes. So I guess let's get started. So as you can see, we're not in the kitchen today. We're actually on the floor of my sunroom, just because it's easier this way. So today's video is just going to be about terms, common things that you'll hear in the spinning world, what they mean, things like that, and then some of the tools that people use when spinning. I have a bunch of these that I'm going to post at the end of this video, just some slides for you. So if you want, you can screenshot them, or if you want to write them down, and kind of going over everything that we're going to talk about here. So first, let's talk about your fiber. Fiber is what you spin, basically. Now, you can get animal-based fiber, or you can also get vegan fiber. Some animal fibers would be sheep, camel, bison. There's cashmere. Cashmere comes from a certain type of goat. You can get mohair. You can get angora from a rabbit. There's so many different animal fibers that you can choose from. Some of the vegan fibers, there's mint fiber, banana fiber, something called tencel. I say tencel, you might say it a different way, but I'm in Minnesota, so they're cotton, nylon, bamboo, so there's many different fibers that you can get. And your fiber is going to come usually in one of three ways. It's going to come in something called roving. It looks like a big yarn, a big string of fiber, just like this. A lot of times your roving will be braided, but here's another type of roving. And like I said, it'll come in a really long strip, and most of the time it's braided. Your fiber can come, for example, this has Angelica in it. I think that's what it's called, the sparklies. And then this is just mohair. This has been commercially put into roving for you. You can get beautiful blends like this. This has also been blended commercially. Now you can get something called a bat, and I will post a little picture I'll give myself some room right there for you. That's what a bat looks like. Now a bat comes off of a drum carder. Most bats are not commercially made, and basically it's just like a big old pillow of fiber, hand blended, so it's all going to be unique. Then you'll get something called a roll egg, and again, right there, that is a roll egg. And a roll egg it could also be called a poonie. I've always known poonies to be cotton, and then a roll egg to be anything else. So the roll egg is also something that's usually not commercially done. It's done on a blending board most of the time, and it's just like the bat, it will come out in a big old sheet, and then they just kind of fold it over to make that pillow. In a roll egg, they actually purposefully wrap it tight. Okay? I'm sorry, I wish I had some examples of roll eggs, but I don't have any in my collection right now. So you might hear the terms worsted and woolen, okay? This just relates to the way the fiber has been prepped, okay? Roll eggs and bats are worsted woolen. Crap, I should look that up right now, huh? Okay, I looked it up. So bats and roll eggs are woolen. Woolen just means the fiber is not necessarily all going the same way. Like with these, you can see it's all the fiber is going the same way. With bats and roll eggs, because you're blending them on a board, they're not always, they might be kind of jumbled. And so it's more light and airy. And then, oh, excuse me. So that is woolen. Now, worsted would be this, okay? This is also called a comb or a combed top, okay? So anything that's been combed is going to be everything is going in the same direction. Now, it does not, for a beginner, it is not really going to hurt much, whether you do worsted or woolen from a bat or from a roll egg or from roving, braided roving. As you develop your skill more, you'll notice that the way the fiber is prepped can affect how your yarn feels. It might be a little more squishy. So, okay, so we've got that. Okay. Okay, so when you first spin, the first thing that you're spinning is called your single, okay? When you ply your yarn, let's see, I don't know. Yep, there you go. Okay, you see how there's that twist there? That is two singles put together. That is the ply. I'm trying. Okay. Another method of plying is called a Navajo ply or a chain ply. That is when you're taking 3 or more singles and making them into one. This here is just 2 singles put into one to make my final yarn. Okay. Barber pole, you might hear. Barber pole basically refers to the way 2-plied yarn looks when it's put together of 2 solid colors. So like if you think of a barber pole, you've got the red and the white, and I think maybe there's some blue in it. I don't know. But anyway, and how it looks like that, that is what they're talking about. Something that you really need to pay attention to is your twist. And your twist is either going to be a Z twist, and that's spinning in a clockwise direction, or an S twist, and that's in a counterclockwise direction. And the reason that these are important, is because whatever way you spin your single, most people do it in the Z twist first, okay? So you're going clockwise. When you ply, you have to do the opposite. So if you're Z spinning to begin, you S spin to, not to twist, to ply, okay? A slub. Now, I took a video, and I'll put it in real quick on what a slub is. Now, for me, most of my slubs happen at the join. So I'm going to try to create a slub here for you. I don't think I've ever actually purposefully made one. So let's just try it. So we're joining our 2 fibers here. Let's do, maybe that'll help. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay. Now, this is a very large slub, but as you can see right there, I go from really thin to a fat piece. Okay, now that is a slub. Slubs are unintentional, thick and thin. So now I kind of wrecked that little piece, but that's all right. So now what it should look like, a more smooth transition. So that's a slub. Again, I know I said it in that video. There is a difference between thick and thin yarn and a slub. Slubs are unintentional. Okay, so let's talk about a couple different types of spindles. So this is a drop spindle. This is called a top whorl. This piece here is the whorl. The whorl is also the weighted portion of it that helps it spin. So you can get a top whorl, or you can get one that's down here. Your hook will always be on top, but the whorl could change, okay? So this is what it looks like. This is just a little notch for your yarn to sit in, but nothing really fancy. This is just a really basic one. I'll put a little picture here. This is what a Turkish spindle looks like. A Turkish spindle is a supported spindle. Now you can get many different types of supported spindles like this one. This is a kick spindle. Okay, so it is supported by a base. Some supported spindles have just like a little bowl. I mean, really, really small. I'm not talking like something you drink out of or eat out of, whatever. And it just, you put your spindle in like this. It does not have a whorl, and you twist it on your support. Okay, now this kick spindle here, this has, like I said, it has its support here. This is meant to be, you put it on the floor and your yarn would go up here, and you just kind of kick it with your foot to spin. Now, I never could get the hang of that. I actually sat and put it on the table, and I spun it with one hand, and I did my yarn with the other, and it worked beautifully for me. That was actually one of the things that my friend Moni gave me when I first started. Okay, so now if you bought the kit, you got a spindle identical to this one. Okay, so you got a top whorl drop spindle. Okay, now that is the whorl on this is not the same thing as a whorl on a wheel. Now I'm going to show you. This is just my wheel. Okay, so here is a bobbin for my wheel. Okay, this here, and this here. These are my whorl sizes. And when you buy your spinning wheel, it will tell you what the whorl sizes are for your particular bobbin. These affect your degree of spin. Okay. Now, a degree of spin is something I consider a more advanced thing. So I'm not really going to divulge much into it, but let's see if I can show you this. So I have this little card here, and you lay your yarn. Let's see. Let me try. Oh, let's see. Okay, so you would lay your yarn here, and is it focused? Kind of. And you sorry, that's not the best. Anyway, the twist, you would want to see where it lines up for your degree of twist. I'm right about here, I think. Somewhere in there. Okay? And that just kind of, the tighter the twist, the less airy your yarn is going to be. The lighter the twist, the softer it's going to be. Now, that does not mean that your merino yarn is going to be hard and scratchy. Okay, this is just so like if you buy bulky yarn at the store, you know, it's more pillowy soft. That's what degree of twist is going to help you with. Okay, well, since I've got this out, this here, I purchased this Essie twist tool. I purchased it from Kamaj Fiber Arts way back when I was starting. I'm not sure if she still sells them. I will say I am in the process of creating my own of these that will be wood. At least I hope they'll be wood. Anyway, but this was a really good thing to have. It has what's called wraps per inch up here, okay? And wraps per inch, WPI, wraps per inch, what it is it's the thickness of your yarn. And you can tell what your wraps per inch are without this card. You take a ruler, and in the 1-inch section, you wrap your yarn right next to each other, butt it up, right next to each other, and you wrap it around a 1-inch section. And then what you're going to do is you're going to count how many wraps you got in that inch. And then there is a list, and again, I will post it for you at the end so you can write it down if you want. And it'll say like bulky yarn will be 7 to 8 wraps per inch. Worsted weight yarn, 9 to 11. Lace weight is 30 plus wraps per inch. And that just kind of gets you so you know how thick your yarn is. Okay. Let's see. Okay. When you have finished plying your yarn and you're ready to use it, you have to do something called setting the twist. And basically what that is you're going to submerge your whole thing of yarn in water, okay? And then wring it out real carefully, and then you're going to let it dry. And that prevents unraveling, okay? So that's called setting the twist. Now, when you're done with your yarn, and before you set the twist, sorry, I kind of did that backwards. Before you set the twist, you're going to wrap your yarn around something called a niddy knotty. And they look like this. Yes, a niddy knotty. Okay. And what a niddy knotty does is it helps you calculate how many yards you have. And it also helps you to create a hank of yarn. This is what a hank of yarn looks like, just in case. Your yarn can come in usually 2 different styles. You can get the hank of yarn, like I showed you, or you can get something called a cake, which is basically, it comes off of a ball winder. Okay, so a center pull ball is another way that they talk about it. So this is a cake of yarn. All right. No, this is not hand spun. This is something I bought at the store. But anyway, let's see. What else can I tell you? I will, in the future, I will be showing you all of the tools that I have, like for blending fiber. I have a blending board. I have a drum carder. I have, no, I don't have a comb. I thought I did. Nope, don't have that. I have a spinning wheel. I will show you that in the future too. For now, we are going to be focusing on drop spindles. Okay. So that is something, a lot of people find drop spindles really easy to learn on. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't. I had one heck of a time learning how to spin on a drop spindle. I can do it now, but I really did. I had a heck of a time. I moved to a wheel almost right away. So if you feel like you're ready for a wheel, go for it. You know, more power to you. And I will talk about in future videos, I will talk about different types of wheels and things like that. But for now, like I said, this video is just some terms that you will hear. Just wanted to show you some examples, you know, different fibers, the tools you'll use, you know, and explain what whorls are, things like that. So I hope that you will continue to join me as we go through and spin our little hearts out. And after we have finished the yarn spinning portion, I will then start a new series for beginner crochet, and you will be able to use the yarn that you have spun to make something beautiful. Thanks for joining.